hard to talk about is STIs and how they can be something that is actually a really serious topic, but how do you bring it up in the community? You know, like how did you learn about it? Did someone tell you about it, or
did you get it? That's how you learn about it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you all went to college, but most college students, I'm sure we've all had an STI at some point, right?
No.
Okay. No judgment though.
No,
but
none.
I think it's healthy to talk about though. It's something that the reason why it's spreading is because people are too scared to get tested for it and know if they're positive or negative for anything. Mm-hmm. We all have done silly mistakes here and there. A lot of them are curable, but I think people are just so afraid to talk about it.
Well, do you guys get tested? Like, how often do you get tested?
Every 2 months.
Every 2 months.
And that's
That's
just because I feel like I'm in a relationship right now, and we've been dating for 5 months. And just for myself, I'm like, we're not sleeping with anyone else. We're not doing anything. I just want to. I feel
so
like I
even in a relationship, you just continually get checked.
I do, just because it's just. I feel like it's for me necessary. Mind, body, like I just need to know.
Well,
like,
is it common to like get cheated on, or is it?
If you're gay,
yes.
Yeah.
Have you been cheated on?
Once, but it broke my heart, and then I won't date anyone that I feel like would ever do that.
It would never, exactly, and I don't feel like.
But
this
that's just very common?
It's
you never know.
Us.
But isn't the community really small, so everyone does know who everyone has slept with? Kind of?
You know a lot of tea. I don't know all that.
I didn't know we wanted to get into that.
I don't know. I feel like I know people more so because I've seen them on the internet and they've like done jobs and I'm like, oh my gosh, I like love your show or whatever. Like I don't party or go out unless it's to an event or to a gamer event. I'm a big gamer, so I'm like, oh, I'll like go to an event like that. But anything clubbing wise, I'm not a fan of, and neither is my boyfriend. So I'm just kind of like, all right, we're on the same page. I know that, and I'm not like everyone knows everyone, and like I personally have never really experienced going into a room and being like,
I know everyone there.
I know everyone in this entire room, and there's 100 people here.
I think it might be a misconception that like not all gay people like each other or know each other. There's, I mean, especially in WeHo. I mean, if I break up with someone, I might never see him again.
I've heard many times though that the number of partners that gay people have is very high. I mean, statistically, I think there's literally statistics on it that show that they're really high.
I think I can count on both hands probably how many people I've slept with. So I'm like, I'm a prude, I feel, when it comes to most things, and I'm like, I don't really.
But I mean, what would you guys say? Like, is that common or is that uncommon?
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like that in the beginning, and then I moved to LA, and I think I kind of just got out of my shell, and then it just kind of was like this exploration for me. But yeah, I think it depends on the person, really. I think you kind of go through your phase where it's like, okay, well, I kind of want to experience it, and then you go through it, and you have your apps, and you go like through it, and you meet so many guys, and it becomes complicated, especially with social media now. I feel like you can meet guys off of Instagram now. You can do it through different types of apps.
It's too late, and everybody knows you because they've all slept with you.
Exactly, or they just like recognize you. So
Ben, what is your experience?
Well, I think it's unfair to say like gay men have more sex than straight men, because I have lots of straight friends who are big old hoes. You know, I just think that it's more difficult for straight men to have the sexual opportunities that are
conversations that gay people can have these conversations.
We can meet in these 10 minutes.
And good for you guys.
So, I mean, if it is easy to talk about sex, why is it so hard to talk about STIs or...
Well, that's a good question. That is the question, right?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you as easily ask somebody, like, are you a top or bottom, or do you also have an STD? Like,
I ask them that.
Yeah.
I'm always like,
really?
Well, top or bottom is like the first question you get out of your mouth.
And then what's your name?
Priority.
and then your name.
And then what's your name?
I think it's like getting invited to a fabulous party and then asking like how much it cost to put on a party.
Right.
So I think people are afraid when they have that encounter, if they're the mutual attractions there, I think they're afraid to talk the business because maybe they just never tried it before. They're out of practice. So I think it's just a matter of getting into the practice of kind of bringing it into the dialogue.
Have you ever had like negative experiences, or what are your experiences when you do bring it up? How do people respond, or what is the interaction that people have when you ask that question? Because of course it is scary, so you get yourself to say it, and then what is the response, or how do people take it?
I always get like negative and clean, always.
They're like, why are you asking?
Yeah, I don't think, maybe one time I've gotten, you know, that they have something, but
Well, if someone is being really weird about it and they're like, well, like you said, why are you asking?
Yeah.
That already in my head is going to be like, well,
Yeah, it's a red flag.
I don't need to be around you. That's just not going to
So
happen.
if you did find out that they did have something, then what? Like, do you actually not? What do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Well, you have to educate on everything. I mean, you have to know if it's a STI, you shouldn't be hooking up people if you know you have it, right? You should go get your shot and take care of it. But if you're HIV positive and you're undetectable, that is a conversation that you could educate this person that's negative, doesn't know what that means. It means his viral load is a lot more safe to hook up with him than someone isn't. And still wear a condom every time. Sex is supposed to be enjoyable. Have it, do it safe. That's it. But you gotta educate people. Like, you can't put all the pressure on them to tell you. If they have something, it's not up to them to tell you. You have to ask, and like, you have to protect yourself also. That's what I think.
I want to know great ways that people can present it, and it doesn't come that it wouldn't maybe scare you, or like what would be a good acceptable way for somebody who might be afraid to tell someone who has something to present it that wouldn't cause conflict.
I think getting tested with a friend always helps, right? Because that friend, if you're friends, you talk about shit, right? So if 2 months later your friend has a scare, he should be able to call you and be like, hey, let's get tested together. And support group helps. You should have friends that you should be able to talk about it. That's how I would
But like,
feel
if you
comfortable.
had it, what's a good way of presenting it to the
someone
people?
else
That
you're going to date.
right.
I wouldn't. I mean, you just have to have the conversation. If they don't bring it up, you have to bring it up. It's really, it's just a difficult topic. I feel if you have something, you have something, and
But if you know you have something, you shouldn't be hooking up with someone, right? So get tested
But there's
first.
just things that you can have that aren't gonna go away.
Right, and
You know
that's
what I mean?
and that's when you have to be an educator for the person that doesn't have that, because
Yeah.
like you don't want them to have a stigma walking away from this situation. You want to make sure everyone's getting educated. So if you are positive, HIV positive, talk to that person about what being on medication undetectable actually means, and how it means like your viral load is lower and you're a healthy option and you're taking care of yourself. But you just gotta talk about it. As I think if you're positive, it's your responsibility to at least educate someone that might be.
Because I know
naive.
people, who aren't necessarily gay, but I have girlfriends of mine who fear telling the guys that they are, that they're interested in, that they have something, and it's something that something like herpes, where it doesn't always, it's not an outbreak, but they're like, no, they've definitely done it without telling, and I'm like.
Yeah.
But it's because they
that's
fear
the face.
the rejection.
Yeah.
But what would be a good way, like, for somebody to?
It's just really. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like there's any real good way to say it.
Well,
just
how would
because-
you say it?
I would just say, so like, let's get some business out of the way. Or how are you? Are you clean? And I don't mean clean as in versus dirty, but do you have anything that I should know about?
Yeah.
Here's where I am. This is my status. I mean, you just have to kind of go out there and say it. And like you said, if I had something currently, I wouldn't be having sex.
Yeah,
or hooking up.
in general.